I'm 75 years old, and right now I'm going to tell you something that might completely shatter everything you think you know. Everything you believe about getting older. It's just wrong. But the scariest part isn't even that. The scariest part is that the people who were supposed to warn you, your parents, your teachers, society as a whole, they're either deliberately misleading you, or they're just as lost themselves. I spent the first half-century of my life believing the exact same lies you're probably believing right now. I thought I had everything under control. A career, my own home, the respect of my colleagues, the full package. But at 54, something happened that shattered my entire worldview. And what I came to understand over the following 21 years completely turned my views on life, death, and everything in between upside down. Before I tell you what happened, I need you to understand one thing. I'm not recording this video to seem wise or to impress anyone. I'm doing it because my time is running out. And there are things you need to hear before it's too late. Not for me, for you. At 54, I had what doctors dryly call a cardiac incident. Behind that clinical term hides a simple fact. My heart tried to kill me. I was sitting in a meeting, going over quarterly reports, when the room suddenly started spinning. The next thing I remember is a hospital bed, tubes in my veins, and my wife crying in the corner of the room. The doctor said I was lucky. Lucky? I had just stared into the eyes of my own death, and they called it good fortune. But you know what? They were right. Because lying there, staring at the ceiling, alone with my thoughts, I realized something terrifying. I'd spent my entire life on autopilot. I wasn't truly living. I was just going through the motions, checking boxes, trying to meet everyone else's expectations. And here's the thought that still haunts me to this day. If I had died that day, if my heart had stopped forever, what would I have left behind? A nice house, a retirement account, a pile of awards and achievements that nobody would even remember 5 years later. Let me name the biggest lie you're whispering to yourself right now. I have time. I'll do it later. Once I'm older, I'll finally live the way I want. I see 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, even 40-year-olds, all saying the same thing. Once I earn more money, then I'll be happy. Once I get that promotion, I'll finally breathe. Once the kids grow up, I'll start traveling. Once I retire, I'll do what I love. Let me save you 50 years of regret with one simple truth. That day will never come. You know why? Because the finish line keeps moving. You get the job, and suddenly you need the next one. You earn the amount you dreamed of, and suddenly you need more. You're always chasing something dangling just in front of your face, and before you know it, you're 70, wondering where your life went. I lived that way myself. I spent 30 years climbing the career ladder only to reach the top and realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. And going back down to start over was no longer an option. This is what nobody tells you while you're young. Success is a terrible goal. I say this as someone who achieved everything he wanted. I made partner at my firm, bought a mansion, earned respect. And you know what? None of it mattered. You reach your goal, and for exactly 48 hours, you feel like a king. Then the feeling fades, you return to baseline, and you need another hit. A bigger goal. My friend died 3 years ago. He was 68. He worked 70 hours a week, spent his whole life building a business empire, never once properly rested. He kept saying, "Next year I'll slow down." Next year came, and a stroke took him down. At his funeral, his son said, "My father was a successful man, but I barely knew him." Is that the legacy you want? Your regrets won't be about the mistakes you made. They'll be about the things you never did at all. I don't lie awake at night thinking about deals that fell through. You know what keeps me up? The trip to Iceland I never took because I was too busy. The relationship with my brother I let fall apart. The book I dreamed of writing but never started. The time I stole from my children by staying late at the office. That's what eats you alive. Missed opportunities, roads not taken, love left unspoken, risks avoided out of fear. The people you love, your parents, your siblings, your friends, you think they'll always be there. They won't. One day their time will run out. My father died when I was 47. We had a complicated relationship, and I was always too busy to fix it. I kept thinking, once I clear my plate, we'll talk. The chance never came, a heart attack. It was all over in a matter of hours, and you know what I regret most? All those Sundays I didn't call. All those dinners I couldn't be bothered to drive to. All the small things I let slip through my fingers. After my own attack, I changed everything. I stepped back from work, learned to say no to what didn't matter, and started saying yes to what I had been putting off for decades. In those last 21 years, I've learned more about life than in the previous 54. What truly matters, and this sounds almost laughably simple, is time with the people you love. Work that feels meaningful, experiencing emotions rather than accumulating possessions, creating memories, and being here, right now. I know it sounds like a cliche. If I were your age, I'd probably roll my eyes too. Sure, old man, but I've got bills to pay. And yes, you do. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm saying, don't sacrifice what matters most for what matters least. Ask yourself one question and answer it honestly. If you died tomorrow, would you be satisfied with how you lived your life? Not what your obituary would say, not how much you earned, but you, personally, deep down. Would you feel at peace? If the answer is no, what exactly are you waiting for? What is so important that you're willing to bet your one and only life on it? I'm 75. After that incident, I was lucky enough to keep my health, but every morning I wake up feeling like I'm living on borrowed time. The truth is, we're all living on borrowed time. Young people just don't see it yet, because they think they're invincible. I have 3 grandchildren, and watching them, I see the same thing, Vera, that I see in most young people today. Stress, anxiety, chasing things that will never bring them happiness. They're repeating my mistakes. I try to share what I've learned, but you know what? They don't hear it. Not because they're bad people, but because they can't. They're inside the storm right now and can't yet see the full picture. They think their situation is unique and that the old rules don't apply to them. That's exactly why I'm recording this video. Maybe if enough people hear this message, just one person will truly listen, make a different choice, and avoid the regrets I carry with me. Nobody likes thinking about death, but your time is not unlimited, and neither is the time of those you love. Your parents grow older every single day. One day, probably sooner than you think, they'll be gone. Friends, spouses, children. Nothing lasts forever. So what are you going to do? Keep putting off that phone call. Keep postponing that trip. Keep lying to yourself that you'll find time later. Or wake up today and start living as though your time is limited. Because it is. If I could go back to my 30-year-old self, here's what I'd say. Stop trying to impress people who don't care about you. Stop destroying your health for the sake of your career. Stop postponing joy for someday. Stop waiting for permission to live the way you actually want to live. Start calling your parents. Buy the tickets. Chase the dreams. Do the things that scare you. Learn to say no to the obligations that drain you, and say yes to the things that fill you with life. And most importantly, start now, not next year, not when you finish the project, not when you have more money, now. Because I promise you, the perfect moment will never arrive. Life will always be complicated, messy, and full of reasons to wait. But if you keep waiting, one day you'll wake up and realize you spent your whole life waiting. I'm 75. If I'm lucky, I have another 10 or 15 years, maybe 20, if things go really well. But most likely, less. And I'm at peace, because these last 21 years have been the richest of my life. Not in money, but in the fact that I finally began to live with intention. I visited places I had only dreamed about. I grew closer to my children and grandchildren. I took up hobbies I had always waved away. I forgave old grudges. I said, I love you, thousands of times. At 75, with almost nothing left ahead of me, I'm happier than I was at 30 when the whole world lay at my feet. That's the irony. When you truly understand that time is running out, you start living for real. You stop wasting it. You stop putting happiness off until later. The choice is yours, right now, today. You can keep living the way you've been living, chasing success and waiting for better days. Or you can wake up, realize that the sand is falling faster than you think, and understand that the life you keep postponing needs to start right now. I can't make that choice for you, but I can tell you this. You do not want to be a 75-year-old looking back, wishing you could do it all over again. Don't waste 54 years figuring that out. Learn from my mistakes, live intentionally, set your priorities straight. Forget the word someday. Someday is today. It always has been. If this video moved you, share it. Write in the comments what you're going to do differently starting today. Subscribe, because I still have things to say and not much time left to say them. The clock is ticking. What are you going to do with your time? Don't rush to turn this off. Sit with it. Think.